guest, who you may have seen here before. He is a returning guest. Secular Rarity is a secular humanist, speaker, atheist, activist, future juggler, wannabe film noir detective, and leaf sheep enthusiast. And if you missed the episode about leaf sheep, you're gonna have to go check that out. I mean, the whole episode wasn't about that, but it did come up. Um, SR is the host of the Atheist Experience and a founding member of the Conversation Coalition Nashville. So, Elliot, Secular Rarity, welcome to the show. Thank you for
Hey,
joining us.
thank you so much for having me. I'm always really, really excited to be hanging out with y'all. That incredible number of patients that have been helped by the Secular Therapy Project got one additional when I signed up with my therapist through that project. So that is the
Nice.
reason that he and I meet every couple of weeks and have been working on a lot of stuff. So yeah, it is an absolutely incredible, incredible thing. And I recently found I was so lucky. We were at this is really, really cool event. We were at this like liberal, humanist, kind of secular, non-religious, like comedy show that was put on in the middle of Nashville. And at the end of it, one of my friends, Promise, came up to me and she said, "Hey, this is somebody in this area who is a secular therapist who specifically focuses on LGBTQ affirmation and religious trauma and stuff." And I was like, "Oh my God, I know exactly who to get you connected with." So, yeah, so we recently got her connected with the individual that's running that recently started up the Nashville RfR chapter again, which is amazing. If you are in Middle Tennessee, you should know that every month you have two options to go hang out and see your friends from Recovering from Religion. They're down there doing it. I think it's the third Saturday of the month or third Sunday of the month down in Murfreesboro, and then like the second Thursday of the month here in Nashville. So, yeah, there's some good stuff, man. We're in the Bible Belt, but we got some heathens around us. So,
Absolutely. I love it. I am so excited that you're out there letting people know about those and
mhm.
pronouncing Murfreesboro
Yes.
correctly to Glenda's great delight. I love it. That is great. Well, and you are also a pretty prolific community builder and
Well, thanks.
yeah,
That's a nice way of saying it. I do appreciate that.
yeah.
I did that check clear? It did. It must have cleared. No,
I
I
don't know what you mean.
It is a weekly recurring one though.
right, right, right.
Just
Okay.
yeah, just
Okay, so
yeah.
no, I'll get
Okay.
it. No, I'll get it sent. I'm sorry. Yeah, yeah, my bad, my bad.
It must have got
Uh,
lost in the mail.
no, I'm sure it'll be tomorrow. Tomorrow, I got you. But yeah, I mean, you know, I have been, I've been really, really lucky the entire time that I have been kind of in this space, trying to voice for atheism, humanism, secularism, human rights, all that good stuff, right? Um, I've been really, really lucky to get connected with an incredible amount of people. And within a short amount of time, I all of a sudden was able to say to some of these people, I said, "Hey, you're doing some really incredible stuff. Do you know about these guys? Have you ever heard about this group over here? Do you know what Dr. Bundy's doing down here? Have you ever heard about Durante Lamar? Did you know Free Flow is coming up, next month? We have an incredibly diverse group of people in this space. We have people who are just entirely focused on the deep nitty gritty science. I mean, you need some fucking chemical equation about whatever, they got it, okay? And they'll tell you the three different combinations of it that we find naturally or whatever the hell it is, right? But we've also got people that what they're doing is providing just an opportunity for people to get together. Something as seemingly simple as baking a lasagna and just opening up their doors once a month, right? And what I kept seeing over and over in these online spaces was a lot of these different groups, a lot of these really awesome people that are making some really big things happen in their area. We're not talking. We're not as connected. And I looked over at the other side and I realized one of the reasons that there has been such a successful campaign in this country over the last few years with a dozen different things that I personally think are quite shit. Whether it's, look, in my state of Tennessee, there is this nonprofit organization called Moms for Liberty. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know that they're technically violating anything that should make their nonprofit status be rescinded, but somebody should look into that if you have friends at the IRS or whatever. But despite that, the point is, those individuals have an intensely Christian nationalist bent, an intensely homophobic, an intensely transphobic bent, and a racist bent as well. And it is so deeply frustrating to see this because I ask myself some questions and I say things like, man, I grew up in a church. I remember us talking about like racism. I remember us saying that, like, hey, the civil rights movement was a good thing. And like the civil rights movement in this country came about because there were all these Christian communities, you know? There was this push for Jesus that propelled us forward, right? That's what I remember hearing so much. And yet, there's this group out there that somehow seems to have a lot of power. This Moms for Liberty group claiming that the current education system in the Tennessee school systems is just so overtly disgusting and anti-American as to keep on the shelves of their libraries the biography of Ruby Bridges. The story of that little girl is somehow anti-American and anti-Christian in their views. And I'm looking at all this shit over the last couple of years, and I keep wondering to myself, where did this come from? How has this become so prominent? What is the thing here that actually makes all these groups successful? And I was lucky enough, because a buddy of mine is part of the local AU chapter, Americans United for Separation of Church and State. Wonderful, wonderful group. And they were doing a screening of this documentary called Bad Faith. There's a bunch of incredible people in that. Catherine Stewart's one of them. If you don't know her work, she's got some incredible, incredible stuff. Talking about Christian nationalism, just breaking it down, you know, all the terrible stuff behind it. And one of the big things about Bad Faith that they focused on is the incestuous conglomerate of organizations and individuals on the Christian nationalist side. On the far right conservative, again, what I fully believe is absolutely antithetical to American values, right? What we saw in that documentary was this one group over here writes the policies. But see, then they kick it off to this other group over here that prints the pamphlets. And then they kick that off to this other group over here that organizes the local gatherings around the country. And then they kick that off to the churches that has all the peoples in the pews. It is that deeply incestuous connection that has allowed them to be so incredibly successful. And so I'm I'm thinking back to the last few years and I'm bouncing around these different I've always been called a stream hobo. I love that. I love that term. I've never really like, made any of my own content or anything. I pretty much always just do stuff like this. And I love doing that because it's always about the community. It's always about this rising tide that lifts all boats. And I'm seeing this in the digital space over the last few years, and I kind of understand it. It makes sense, especially COVID time and stuff. Like, totally get it. Honestly, I didn't want to go see it. That was one of the best excuses for like 2 years straight. I'm gonna be honest. If anybody out there was trying to hang out with me around that time and you are here today, I just want to apologize. I definitely lied to you. I was not worried about COVID that one time. I just did not want to come over and see you. I'm just saying. So I'm sorry, but anyway, but
I do
I
miss that
it,
excuse.
it was nice. It was nice. I will say it was nice. Because nobody questions it. It was just like, yeah, man, COVID, man. I'm sorry, man. Gotta stay.
Yeah. Be like,
'Cause
look, I've got a health condition. I
yeah,
really can't risk it.
my grandma's gonna be in town, man. She's like 80. I can't do it. But I understood the digital thing, right? But then what was really super cool was I started getting connected with some groups in person. And I found out that we have this local humanist chapter. I found out we have this local AU chapter. We didn't have the Nashville chapter of RFR at the time, but we did have one down in Murfreesboro. And there's all these different groups. And I would show up to one event and I'd see a couple of people that I knew and I'm like, oh my gosh, so great to see you. Hey, how's it going? But then there'd be like 5 people I'd never seen before. And then I'd talk to one of those people and one of them would go, yeah, man, just down at the Capitol yesterday, protesting this Christian nationalist overreach, they're trying to get rid of trans kids in schools and just everywhere and stuff. Yeah, we were down there protesting. And I was like, why the fuck didn't I hear about this? Why didn't I hear about, of all the people? I'm plugged in. Like I'm paying attention to stuff. Why did I miss this event, And then I'd go to the next event and then I'd see 10 completely different people. And I'm like, wait a second. Why weren't you at the last event? Did you not hear about it? Did you not know about it? Okay. So all this stuff is swirling around in my head. And then somewhere around the time I think I was on here the last time, we were starting up the Conversation Coalition. And we were working on this idea of how do we bring together religious and non-religious people to actually communicate, like just actually talk to each other. It is amazing how much you can break down some terrible bigotry and hatred and ignorance by just talking with somebody, you know? Like it now, believe me, I understand that not everybody has the space for that. Do not feel like, hey man, I'm gonna get out there, I'm gonna go talk. No, absolutely not, right? There's a lot of other people that are absolutely ready to take that space. Please do not be jumping out on the front lines. Um, but as we're doing this, as we're bringing people together regularly, monthly, I'm starting to see a bunch of these Christians. I know. Hang on, guys. I know. Just give me a second here. I might say one or two things, might be a little upsetting, okay? Some s- some Christians are okay people. Look. I know.
No,
It's
surely not.
no, it's true. I've discovered it. I have discovered it. I was lucky enough to get invited on to local radio station here in Nashville. There's a show called This Is Nashville, and we were talking about the Conversation Coalition, and the pastor that we had on with us is bisexual, cis man, um, runs a church that is affirming. He's out to his congregation. They're regularly involved pushing back against Christian nationalist and homophobic and sexist bills and stuff. He's regularly out there doing that. It's awesome. It was so fucking cool. And what was so amazing was how time and time again we kept aligning on these things that are so incredibly important. Like, okay, technically, guys, look, technically, he does believe that there is like this imago Dei, right? He calls it, it's like the spirit soul thingy, right? That's like moving us around, and that's going to go to some place after, we all die and whatever, Okay, he does technically believe in that, Um, but more importantly, what he believes is that just because an individual doesn't have a home, it doesn't mean that they're a criminal, right? Just because an individual has an unforeseen medical complication doesn't mean that they deserve to be completely broke and destitute their whole life. He's somebody who actively stands up and says, wait a second. There's members of our community right now that are not being paid attention to, and we need to take that time to do that. That guy right there is on our side. And we need to figure out a way to deal with all of these different things, okay? So we got all these people now that are doing things, but nobody's talking. We don't know about each other's events. We don't know about what's going on yesterday. We don't know about what's coming up in the future. We got all these other people that are here, these individuals that they're not an organization, but they give a shit. They're interested. They want to do something, right? But they don't know about all this stuff that's going on. And then we got all of these other people that are technically, right? They're not in our label. They're not in our category. They are there. Believe me, they are not an atheist. I promise you. Okay. But they are 100% in alignment with us on the most important issues, the issues that right now are just being completely eroded. Christians Against Christian Nationalism is an awesome organization. We
Oh, I
need
didn't know about that.
we need
Mhm.
we need one from every fucking group. I want a Hindus Against Christian Nationalism and Hindu nationalism. I want a Jews against. I want everything. And we, as non-religious people, we need to make sure that we utilize those avenues. And here's why, okay? I'm just going to tell you right now. It may sound a little crass, but look, that's where the fucking money is. It's in the pews. It's in their pockets. And all we have to do is let those people know we are actually completely aligned on this. We are 100% lockstep here when it comes to whether or not children should be safe when they go to school. We're in 100% alignment as to whether or not we should, I don't know, have that uncomfortable conversation about slavery in this country. Was it important? Did it matter? Yeah, it fucking did. It was a big part of our country. It's the history, it's the fact. We need to talk about this stuff. So, with kind of all of that being said, what do we do? That's a big question there. What what can we do in this moment, especially when right now, I think pretty much all of us here could easily list off 3 to 5 reasons to be bummed out for the next couple of years, right? I mean, without trying very hard, I feel like we could all go, yeah, there's reasons right now to be a little depressed, feel like you want to isolate. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you're just confused and you're in a fog and you don't know how to move forward, All of these are 100% valid. Shit, maybe you've gone numb. Like, I completely understand every single one of those. And I don't fault anybody for feeling that way 100%. I'm not telling you, hey man, wake up tomorrow and just start smiling, start skipping down the street. Not here to say that. What I am here to say though is I think there is an answer to these problems. And I think that answer is connection. I think that answer is specific action focused on connecting and supporting our people, whether that is through in-person events, whether that's through online communities, whether that is lectures and courses over weeks, or whether that is a single 1 hour fucking bowling party. We have to figure out how to provide that same type of connection and community on our side that the other side has. One of the biggest ways that they are able to do that is because in between those individual organizations that I was talking about earlier, there's one that just prints the stuff. And there's one that just organizes the events. And there's one that just has the churches, right? They've all got their little niche. But in between all of those are organizations behind the scenes that are connecting those organizations. There are well-funded groups that are actively making sure that the directors from each of those groups have a fucking lunch at least once a quarter. That level of connection is what's going to do it. It's not something that's going to fix everything tomorrow. It's not, honestly, it's probably not something that's going to fix everything next year. But it is a foundation for which we can actually start building tangible change in the world around us. Starting now is the best way for us to ensure our future. And so at the end of last year, my friends and I sat down and we created Secularizing US, is a new 501c3 here in Nashville, Tennessee. Our goal is to connect and support atheist, humanist, and secular-minded people and their allies through activism, community, education, and service opportunities. We have a lot of really, really awesome things that we are already planning, already in the works. For instance, some of you may be familiar with the Nashville Nuns Convention. We are bringing it back, baby. We are bringing it back this year. We are super duper excited. That is the biggest event that we are helping to work with this year. We are also working on another super cool fun event, which is, if you know, this year is the 100th anniversary of the Scopes monkey trial. Happened in a small town here in Tennessee. And it was an absolute fucking riot. It was a complete and total circus and would help start this really awesome conversation, right? That would allow us to continue teaching proper evolutionary science in school, It's the 100th anniversary, and every year in the summer, that town does a reenactment of the trial. It's a whole big event for the whole month. They go crazy with it and whatnot. But so we are going to be renting a charter bus, and we've already got like 60 some odd tickets, I think, blocked out. And we are going to be hosting this awesome event. We're going to be bringing a bunch of atheists and sciencey people and secular people. We're going to get them all together, and we're going to drive down to Dayton and hang out the whole fucking time. So that is just two of the larger things that we're planning. This is a number that I came across in just the last few weeks, and it blew my mind. And I bet you, even everybody here, as connected as I know all of you are, I bet you wouldn't have guessed this. In the Middle Tennessee area alone, for 2025, there are over 150 secular, non-religious, atheist, humanist-themed events already. That doesn't even include the various events that Secular Rising will be putting on now. There are already over 150 opportunities for people in this area to find their people. That's insane. That's amazing. Now, hold on just a second. Don't get too excited, because here's what I'm going to tell you. There are thousands of religious events every day. We still have a massive, massive battle on our side, right? We are just starting. We are just starting, right? But that's good. That's good, because we've got a really good foundation, okay? That 150 plus events, okay? Some of that shit is lectures. Some of that shit is activism, standing out there and saying, I'm not putting up with this. I vote. I matter. Some of this stuff is getting together with people in your area and just making a difference right there where you can. One of the most powerful things we can do, whether it is helping with anxiety, depression, a feeling of loss of control, one of the most powerful things we can do to make a change in ourselves is seeing tangible change in the world around us. Getting out there once a month and just packing some fucking lunches, picking up some fucking trash. It doesn't have to be this, hey man, we're going to build a whole nother building, or it doesn't have to. If you can, fuck yeah, let's do that. But in the meantime, you know what's incredible? Going down the street and cutting the lawn for somebody you know struggles to do it, right? Going to your local animal shelter and just offering a hand. Say, hey, shit, is there anything I can do? I'm not great, but I know how to pour dog food, you know? Like, there's so much that we can do right now, especially when so many of us are feeling down and not enthused and just not here for it, man. Totally get that. I totally get that. Good news is there's RFR chapters all over the fucking place. And if there isn't one, you can make one. You can do it, okay? Like, it's awesome. It's so cool that there are all of these opportunities. And the best part is all of these other incredible organizations that are doing great work also have these types of things. Whether it's Americans United, whether it's the American Humanist Association, FFRF, all of these organizations are going to be incredibly important for us in the next coming years. And we need to be connected. Look, I get it. Nobody likes to be told that we got to do work. I get it, guys. I'm going to tell you right here, right now, one of the number one reasons why I have always, without hesitation, agreed to do this show is because it is late at night. Because the 8 a.m. shit don't work for me well. Like, I get it. Okay. Here's the bummer. We got to do some work. Plain and simple. We've got to be involved. We have to. Because, unfortunately, that quote is true. That the only thing that is required for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. If we choose to let the rest of our lifetimes be dictated by others, then it will be. It will be a self-fulfilling prophecy. It will be the first time that the Christians are right with their prophecies. But it will be because we did not do anything. And again, I get it. I get it, y'all. It's hard. It is not easy. When I have those feelings, what I have found time and time again is to reach out to people and to have a diversity of people and places to reach out. And that's the whole fucking point right there. That's the whole fucking point of what we're doing. I want to give people 100 different options every day in their area. Hey, you don't like bowling? That's cool, man. Not really my thing either. Let's go do this. Oh, you don't really like hiking. Hey, I understand. I will say Radnor Lake's real pretty if you haven't ever done it before. It's a good hike. It's not too bad. Okay, no, don't like hiking. That's fine. How do you feel about needlepoint? I'm sure there's one or two people out there that probably enjoy a good book on a rainy day. Probably sit the fuck down once in a while and talk about it. So how do we do that? That's a good question. How do we offer those opportunities? Well, one thing is we need structure. We need some organization. I know a lot of us get a little tense when we hear about too much of that organization, because it starts to feel a little high control. I get that. A lot of us have some bad experience with groups in the past that their structure was the specific reason why we left. And I think that can be answered without us saying we can't ever do that. The religious don't have a monopoly on community. The religious don't have a monopoly on nonprofits. They don't get that space. They claim it. They tell me time and time again, but it's not fucking true. And we all know that. Because if you're here right now, you must be connected enough to know about all of the incredible things that happen on a regular basis here and at a bunch of other places. So okay, we organize. Got that. I like that. Do some paperwork, get some board members, some bylaws, whatever, send a message to the Secretary of State. The Secretary of State says you didn't have this thing, and you're like, oh shit, okay, well, what page was that? Okay, 17, yeah. So, some of that shit, right? That's not for everybody. I'm not expecting everybody out there to just start filing paperwork with the IRS tomorrow or anything. That's not what I'm saying, right? But we can get involved. We can get involved with those groups, and we can help these organizations that are doing good things. We can help them in a shit ton of ways. Let me just once again say it straight out, just in case anybody's unclear about this, right? Money. If you have $5 in your pocket, send it. If you can, send 50. If you got an uncle or a best friend that just has a lot, talk to them. These organizations need your support. One of the number one reasons why these other organizations are so successful is because a motherfucker walks up to them and they just go, hey, so Jesus, right? And they go, oh yeah, $20? That's the 30. I can make it 40. How much do you want? Yeah, Jesus? Of course. I give it to you. Of course. We have to do that. Have to. Okay? Now, we aren't all in a position. I can't write a $10,000 check today. I sure fucking would. I'd put up another FFR billboard tomorrow that said sleep in on Sundays. Loved seeing that thing around my city, right? Okay. So what do I do? Dude, it's amazing. Check this out. Everything that you can possibly think of when it comes to talents, abilities, skills, all of that shit's needed. Just all of it. Just, what do you do? Do you make graphics? Somebody needs you. Do you write incredible articles? Somebody needs you. Is your organizational skills so fucking amazing that people literally collapse in front of your spread? Somebody needs you. There are thousands and thousands of opportunities for us to do something with the groups around us. Hey, man, I really don't have that much time. Like, I just don't. I'm very busy. Totally get it. 100%. Absolutely 100%. I will just say real quick, you probably have like 5 hours a month, right? Like, do you know how many actual hours are in a month? You know, it's like 24 a day, and you multiply that by 30. We don't have to do it all, but it's like you probably have 5, you know, first off. But hey, look, I get it. You're busy. You got stuff. You got it. I get it. I understand. Hey, I don't got $10,000. I don't got time. I understand it. Me too. Me too. Totally get it. You know what you can do, though? And I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure you've heard it. On a lot of these, I think they call them social medias. I could be saying that wrong. You can just share the information. And don't tell me you don't have fucking time to do that, because I see everybody posting 1,000 times a day on all of them. So I know we all have 5 seconds to just go, hey, did RFR post anything today? Hey, is there something coming up that might be interesting in my area that I should look at? Is there a local Facebook page for atheists or humanists or whatever? We can all do that. We can all take just 2 seconds from our doom scrolling and are responding to that dumb shit transphobe who keeps saying the same fucking thing and then, instantly refuting themselves because you're like, right, so you said there's only 2, but then there's 6 right there. I just, take 5 seconds. Just like it. Just shoot a message to your buddy and just be like, hey, did you hear about this? Do you know about this? You seen this? All of those things are incredibly, incredibly important. And they're going to be incredibly necessary as we move on in the next few years. And if you have the space, if you have that capacity emotionally and mentally right now, check in and see if there's a way that you can offer another space. If there already is an RFR chapter in your area, fantastic. Get together with that person, start talking with them and be like, what would be really cool? What if we did like a bowling thing every other week? I really don't like bowling that much. It's just the example that keeps coming to mind. I just want to let you guys know that. Like, anyway.
I'm getting the sense this is like your number one hobby. You're
Yeah,
always bowling.
I really don't. It's what keeps coming up to mind. I feel like
The
stamp
protest
collecting.
is a little too strong.
Yeah,
We all know in the back you've got like
Uh-huh.
multiple balls.
Yes. I do. I don't have a bedroom behind this wall. It's just a bowling alley.
It's just a closet full of polyester polos
Ooh,
and that are
yeah,
all,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I
All
got
good.
my wrist brace, but
Yeah.
no, I mean, look,
See, he even knows all the equipment
See?
it
stuff.
really is
See,
Right?
true. It's not.
Right?
You're
No, see,
outing
this is
yourself
this is
now.
out. It is out.
What were we talking about? Community.
The bowling league you started.
Right. The secular bowling league.
The
No,
secular bowling league, yeah. SPL.
seriously, this is a time where I completely understand why, for a lot of us, we feel everything we've done for years is for nothing, right? I can't even imagine how some of the people that have been holding this space for 20, 30, 40 plus years, can't imagine how they feel right now. And I completely understand. I really do. You know? Doesn't it feel, though? Doesn't it feel so much better when we are feeling like that? When we're here? Don't those moments pass a little bit quicker? Don't those happy thoughts come back to us a little bit faster when we're doing stuff like this? I just think it's demonstrable, you guys. And I
Oh,
think
I
we
totally agree. Oh,
we
sorry.
we see that. No, please, at any point interrupt me. Otherwise I just ramble. So, but
So it is
this
No,
quite
Go ahead.
It was quite specifically how the brain works. I
Yeah.
mean, it's what I
Yeah.
loved your example around like, do you have a few seconds away from doom scrolling?
Uh-huh.
And it's
Right.
like, it's
Yeah.
volunteering even when you don't feel like it, connecting with others even when or especially when
Yeah.
is a self-teachable moment to
Mm-hmm.
recognize that just because I don't feel like doing something doesn't mean that I shouldn't follow through with what I care about. And that pays off huge
Mm-hmm.
into
And
the future.
there's a lot of ways that you can do that. And
Hmm.
that's what's so awesome these days is there really is already, I promise you, it does not matter where you are. There is a group a lot closer to you than you think. There are people a lot closer to you than you think. And if you don't, if you abso-fucking-lutely don't have anybody in any reasonable distance around you, there are thousands of awesome places like this online. And we have to make sure that over these next few years, we grow those places. We cannot let them stagnate. We cannot say, well, fuck, we lost, the game's over. No, we have to, we have to be stronger than ever. And so again, that's why a few months ago I'm sitting around with a couple of other really incredible people, people that have been holding this space for 10, 20, 30 plus years. There's a man in our area, Mr. Bill, has been holding down for the humanists for 30 plus fucking years. It's incredible. In Nashville, Tennessee. So that's what we're doing. We now have an organization that is entirely focused on bringing together all of our people and finding a place for all of us to constantly be able to say, where, where are the humanists at tonight? Shit, man, I'm just going through Nashville on a fucking Tuesday, man. Just spending one night at some fucking hotel, whatever, man. Where are the skeptics in the area? Are they doing anything tonight? Do the skeptics get together on Tuesdays? Where are the atheists at? Where can I learn about street epistemology and how to have better conversations? Where the fuck can I do any of that? Well, we're working on that place. That's that is what our goal is to provide a one-stop shop calendar on our website so that anytime you're in this area, you know exactly where to fucking go. And then if you're not in this area, we want to start connecting you to groups in your area. If you're not familiar with this guy named Durante Lamar, awesome dude, awesome dude. Mega church pastor for like 15 fucking years, stepped away from that shit, looked around and said, you know what we don't have on the atheist side? We don't have enough community. And is starting that shit in Raleigh, North Carolina. He's doing the same damn thing. And if you're anywhere in the South right now, I fucking guarantee you, I know somebody personally in your state that's doing something. So there's a lot going on. And we got to be there for each other. We have to support each other in these next few years. Again, whatever way that is for you, whether that's money, whether that's time, whether that's your abilities and skills, whether it's just sharing it and just letting people know that you're still around. All of that shit is so important. And I said this before we started this. I don't remember where I heard it from, but I fucking loved this. Right now, one of the best fuck yous to everybody out there that wants to destroy all of the goodness, all of the beauty that has been growing for years and years. One of the biggest fuck yous to them is your survival in 5 years' time. You standing up fucking stronger, ready, with a plan in mind for the next 5 years. So that's what we're trying to work on here in the South. we're gonna have a big launch party on March 31st where we're bringing on a bunch of really really incredible people. The wonderful Glinda Jordan even said she would be gracing us and hanging out with us. We have just an absolutely incredible amount of people that are going to be there, and we want everybody to show up and hang out with us, and yeah, so I'm sure there'll be more stuff going around. I've got all kinds of incredible people, so I feel very confident that without you trying to put any effort into it, you will end up seeing the advertisement for it because of all of these different people. One of them is coming across your feed one way or the other. But if you just look up Secular Rising US anywhere, we're all over the places. And trust me, you'll be fucking hearing about us over the next couple of years. Like I said, we've already got NanoCon. We've already got the Scopes Monkey Trial event. I'm so fucking thankful and I'm so excited because a buddy of mine has brought back the Ark Encounter protest up in Kentucky. Um, we are gonna make this year big. We're gonna do it one way or the other, because it is possible, and not only is it possible, it is fucking necessary right now. It absolutely is needed because otherwise we will not be around in 5 years. We just won't. It's a damn shame that that's the situation that we're in. I really, really loved those handful of years where it was like every year it felt like, man, things are getting better. Like we're making progress. And then, sure, it has been a very upsetting, a very abrupt wake up call, but that's okay because there is a fucking path forward. There is. So I think this is one of those, and I will finally shut up, so you guys can do whatever. I don't know where we're going from here.
No, that was great. You covered the topics you promised to cover, and we have lots of questions and follow-up discussion to ask you about. But that
Perfect.
that was awesome, and so excited to learn about the new community building activities that you're up
Yay!
to. Every time you're here, you have new
I
activities that you're involved in.
know,
You told
I
us
know.
yeah, last time you talked a little bit more about the Conversation Coalition. Now we've
Uh-huh.
got Secular Rising. We're gonna have to keep inviting you on just so that you'll start
I'll just keep
new
right.
things every time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll do it. I'll
That's
take it.
that's great. Yeah, are you still involved in the Conversation Coalition as well?
Hmm. Yep, we're
Oh,
still going.
nice.
We just had our January event. And like I said, I was on a local radio show, 90.3 here in Nashville for the show is called This Is Nashville. And we did an hour-long spot with myself, our Christian pastor, and then a professor from Vanderbilt Divinity School, actually. So that's
Oh,
pretty cool too.
nice. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fantastic. I
Yeah, yeah.
love that. No wonder you are well placed to kind of start a network for people to get connected to others. That is a great application of your
That's my
skills.
hope. That is my hope. I
Yeah.
again, I've been, this whole time I have ever been in this space. I've just been so incredibly lucky to, get to run into all these different amazing people doing great work. And again, right from the beginning, I realized one of the most important things we can do is tell people about each other, is get people connected, get people working together, because again, that's the only way we're ever going to push back against any of this shit.
Mhm. Well, yeah, I think that's a great point. And you've mentioned several times about if there's not a group or an activity or a type of event taking place in your area, go ahead and start it yourself. You can be that person. What do you think, in your opinion, given how plugged in you are to everything? Do you think there's a need for any particular type of events or activities or spaces that need filling currently?
Yeah. So I know this is a nonprofit, so I'm not gonna push any political agendas or tell people to do any political activities or anything. But there are a lot of fantastic political organizations whose values 100% align with a lot of us here, right? Whether it is LGBTQ rights, whether it's humanism. Again, Americans United for the Separation of Church and State was a phenomenal organization, and I think those types of organizations going forward will be incredibly, incredibly important for us. And I think we could probably do with more of those across the board at a local and grassroots level, because again, that is something over the last handful of years we have seen a concerted effort from the Christian nationalists. I mean, that ideology has been attacking your school systems. It has been attacking your school board. It has been attacking your comptroller. If you have never in your life heard the word comptroller, that's okay. But the Christian nationalists know what it is and what little fucking power that person has. They are wielding it. So yeah, I think that stuff will definitely be important.
For sure,
That
for
is,
sure.
I like you bringing up that part because, it's something that, um, obviously I have my own thoughts on it, but you're the guest and very much more plugged in. So it's one of those where, you know, the kind of um, interconnection that exists on the other side so often, and why perhaps you think it's so important, or rather not important, it's so difficult to get the secular communities connected,
Mhm.
particularly given that, at least statistically speaking, there is a whole lot of similarity, at least when it
Yeah.
comes to certain issues and whatnot.
Absolutely. And I think there's, as with everything, right, there it's multifaceted. There's a
Mm.
couple of different battles that unfortunately we're fighting on this side. I mean, one is the fact that, like, there has been a playbook to build a church for thousands of years. We've known how to build a church for a long time. We have that. We have that book. It is so fucking easy to control F, find their church's name, and just swap your church's name. Like, you can do that, and everybody uses essentially the same playbook. We really don't have that. Just that alone puts us at a disadvantage. We are starting from much more of a blank script than they are, right? On top of that, we were also held back for the first couple of miles on this race, right? For quite, I mean, it's like somebody asked me like, "Hey man, why do you think it is that, you know, black lesbians don't really have a community in Nashville?" And I'd like, God, I just can't think of any reason whatsoever. I couldn't think of any racist or homophobic reason whatsoever why. In Tennessee, that would be so we've also been, on we've also been behind in that capacity. That is deeply, deeply frustrating. What what that unfortunately leads into is this term, and I know I've already done a little math. I promise I'm not going to do any more. But again, it's a term you should know, which is compound interest. And it is a very sexy term for the financial people because they like how the money gets really, really big over time, okay? That that fact alone, that back in 1901 they put $1,000 in a fucking bank account, versus that in 2001 we put $1,000 in a bank account. That math just catches up. That is a big problem. It is frustrating. I hate it. I wish there was a way to do something about it. Don't have a great answer at the moment. Maybe try day trading. I was gonna joke and say crypto, but I don't even want to joke about it. Like, don't do it. Uh, but
Do not take any
right,
financial
right,
advice
right.
from
This
this
is not
show.
Yes.
I am not a financial advisor. You will lose all your money listening to me. Just telling you. But on top of that as well, we do have a little bit of, and I totally understand, we do have a little bit of an aversion on this side to that deep structure and that deep connection, because a lot of us recognize how that can very easily lend itself to these high control groups and stuff, right? Um, all of those facets together And then add this on top of it, which is your eternal damnation is on the fucking line. You will be tortured. You will be punished forever unless you give 10%. We don't have that fear motivation, so on our side. And while I hate fear as a motivator, that doesn't mean it doesn't emotionally and psychologically work, right? It does lead to results. I would just argue that we've got a lot of reason to say, like, hey, this is definitely not the best motivator. It's not the thing that makes the most long-term change and all that. But again, yeah, you can absolutely put a gun to somebody's head and make them do shit. Like, so all of that together just makes this intense ball of shit and frustration that makes it very difficult for us on our side to accomplish those things, right? But again, that doesn't mean that we can't. And it doesn't mean that we shouldn't. And those are the two important things, because we absolutely should and we absolutely can.
Well, I think that touches on one of the questions that was
Yeah.
raised. Sorry, Kyle.
Go
But
ahead.
so it was, it's actually interesting you bring up the fear question, because at least for a while there, some of the fastest growing denominations, very tentatively referred to as Christian. Um, but I have a whole argument about why there is no such thing. But there's really we're not the fundamentalists. That it's the non-denominational Pentecostal,
Right.
in which they almost never talk about hell and damnation. It's almost entirely about join our big group. We've got 14, things topic oriented
Mm-hmm.
for you to join this week. And that seems to be often, and this touches on, there was questions. So I'm active in politics in my community, and it's been great. I work closely with a pastor who is a badass, and I enjoy working with her. Then there's a small group of us who made a secular Facebook group. Feel like a lot of things we want to do overlap. Would love your opinion on how to combine those two. And it seems initially the combination is about topic, not
Mm-hmm.
label. If you
Yes.
start with you're a Christian, that's all I need to know about you.
Yeah.
Or you're an atheist, that's all I need to know about you.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to have any overlap.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very difficult to build community when you start with labels first.
Yeah. And
It's
it
not that they're not
genuinely,
important.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's that it. And again, like, we all recognize this. This is something that more and more as I talk to, people with opposing views and stuff, I love to say, which is, we're already doing this. Like, when I say to the believer and I say, hey, look, you're already discounting these supernatural stories just like I am. There's no difference between us. You turned it off for this particular space, right? We are already doing this regularly when it comes to these labels and moving past these things and so forth, right? All the fucking time. We meet somebody and we go, "Hey, how's it going? I'm Elliot. Nice to meet you. Was it Phil? Hey, Phil. Good to meet you. Hey, what do you do for a living, Phil?" "Oh man, I'm a mailman. I've been working for the United States Postal Service for 30 years now, actually. I really, really love it. It's a great job, It's like, oh shit, Phil, the mailman. That's it. That's all he does. Phil's a mailman, Fucking hell, Christ. It's like, no, of course not. No, of course not. This grouping is very, very important in the sense that it can help us navigate the world a lot of times. It can give us a general guideline as to how to move about. If, for instance, because this is a good example of why some labels can be very important, right? If, for instance, I walk up to somebody and I go, "Hey, I'm Elliot. Nice to meet you, Phil. Great. What do you do for a living, Phil?" He goes, "I'm a murderer." It's like, oh, okay. So cool. That's not everything about you, Phil, but that is deeply important for me to
Pretty
make decisions.
salient. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna, okay, all right. I'm gonna just step back real quick. But this, this,
Although the
I,
follow up to that would be, but am I your type?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
well,
about
then in
your
that
time.
case,
Yeah, no, cool. Oh,
okay.
great,
Well,
great, great,
fine.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, me? No, okay. Um, but when you when you take that opportunity to genuinely be curious about other people, you will be amazed at the type of people that you find commonality with. Because, and this, I know this also might blow people's minds too, right? But we are all human. So there is a shit ton of commonality between us, just on the base level. Like,
That's just
absolutely.
crazy
I
talk.
know some people don't believe me. Some people they say otherwise, but I'm telling you, that fact alone will result in such an incredible overlap of agreement when it comes to the things that are actually the most important at the end of the day. Hey man, you know, should high school start at 7 o'clock in the morning or at 7:30? I'm not saying that that's not important, and I'm not saying that there's not psychological and sociological data that gives us an answer to that. I'm not saying that that isn't the case, but I am saying that I really do feel like is much lower on people's give a shit list than so my child might be murdered at school, right? Is that a right left? Is that a religious, non-religious? Is that a cis, trans, queer, hetero? What? No, that's a fucking human thing. And when you focus on that intentionally, you will be amazed the amount of people in the diversity that come to your side. You really will be.
Yeah, I think that is such a good point too, because a lot of times we almost discount the opportunity to come to agreement with other people when we hear, oh, okay, it's people from this organization or it's people with this label. I already know what they think. They're going to
Yep.
think X, Y, and Z. And it's so easy to do because, in many cases that may be what their opinions are, but in many cases it's not. And we don't give ourselves the chance to come together with people if we discount them before we've even met them before. And I love to hear that you specifically organize chances for people to have this kind of overlap and to talk
Mhm.
with others who they might not expect to be in alignment with on things. I think there's so much opportunity there to get out of this polarized way of thinking and interacting with people that we may have fallen into the habit of doing lately.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, and really taking advantage of the fact that we're not consistent. I
Mhm.
mean, it's really like, I
that's
mean,
true.
I was having a conversation, actually, it was with Daryl, earlier, where, a few days ago or so, that where it's like the sheer number of clients that I work with in which the activities and interventions and things that are encouraged and they will own and pursue that may or may not be philosophically consistent with some of the
Mm.
other things that they say, in a very specific space. You know how much I care about that?
Mm.
Zippo.
Right.
It's just like
Right.
we're not here to necessarily be philosophically like pure
Mhm.
in all of our moments. I'm not even certain how that would even work other than being an asshole.
Yeah.
So instead
Yeah.
it's just, hey, I'd
It all
rather
seems
know that you're here to help.
Yeah, and for any of the hardcore philosophy nerds out there that, are you're getting your responses ready, I just want to let you know. All of it seems to be fucking post hoc anyway. We're all just making up stories after the fact to justify everything. So like maybe it's not as solid as we think. So like maybe just try to be a good person and do the things in your life and stop, freaking out so much about all of these. I mean, again, I like logic. I love the fallacies and all that. I love it, but there's a point at which it's like, come on, guys. Like, you don't want this puppy to starve, right? It's like, yes, but let's see what the logical construction of it's like, yeah, I don't. I just feed the fucking dog, man. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy.
As someone who absolutely loves and is working on a philosophy program, I still completely sign off on that.
Oh yeah.
It's totally, yeah, yeah. Quote me Kant all day long. and we still have to mow our lawns and
Man, I
you know,
was I
help
was
out at the soup
probably
kitchen.
I was probably the most annoying like 14-year-old in my area because I was running around telling everybody how they're like deontologically impure and shit like that. Like, yeah, man, it was rough. I lost a lot of friends those years, but
Love it. I love it.
You
Oh,
can take your categorical imperative and shove it right up
that's
your
right.
yeah, okay.
Uh,
okay,
Yeah,
speaking of
philosophy gross.
which,
Anyway,
I feel like now this reminds me, we should look at the poll question results
oh
and
yeah.
see what activities people said they wanted to do. Because I know
that's right.
philosophy and debate club was one of them. Let's see how many of y'all, like you two, are in here. Is that what y'all both would have chosen? Hold on, let me pull up the results and we'll
I
ask
probably
this in
yeah.
context.
Yeah.
Okay,
I do like
okay.
them. I do like the philosophy stuff. So come
Oh,
on,
yeah.
there's at least one nerd out there. Yes, there
Oh,
is at
yes,
least
we
one
got
nerd.
one.
I
We
was
got at
not
least
allowed
one.
to fill it out, so there
Right.
would be another
Yeah.
one.
Cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
that would be at least 3 votes for that one. And so for people who are listening, the question was, what types of community activities do you most want to participate in currently? And we listed a bunch, and debate and philosophy did get a vote. Looks like our most popular ones were okay, and this is an example of how we have to remember when you take a survey, you're surveying the population that is, there at that time, which could have some bias to it. So the most
Mhm.
popular answer was lectures and discussion groups, which makes sense considering this is a lecture and discussion activity that
True.
we're here for. So I'm glad to see that you found us, those of you that enjoy that. I like that too. That would have been my answer. Um, and we've got debate and philosophy was a choice. Also, I am surprised to see book club only got 1 vote. I thought that one would have been more popular, but
Ha-
hey,
Has nobody been listening to me the like 20 times that I've been here that we need to be all the books that have been recommended? Come on.
y-
Come
yeah,
on.
come on. We could have a book
Ugh,
club that are just the David Teachout book recommendations club. And in fact, I
right.
think we should start that. Uh,
This needs to happen because
okay,
I
I'm
need
I'm
another thing
writing
on my
that
plate.
down. We're doing that. Okay, the other activity that did tie with lectures and discussion groups was art, music, poetry, and cultural events. That's another big one. Maybe
Ooh.
that's an area where there's space for people to start something new. Sounds like
there's
there
some
may be a
cool
need.
there is some cool opportunities that you can do with that. And again, especially because that category has been so dominated by the religious for so long. Let's have I know a bunch of people that are making entirely secular music. I know a bunch of people that are making art that is entirely secular. Like, let's do a whole atheist at the museum day. Fuck yeah.
Yes. Oh,
That
I
would be
love
fun.
it. Some museums have like adult night and things like that where it's like no kids are there. I mean, not they
Right.
also sometimes have family night too. But sometimes at the adult night ones, it'll be like, a mingle. They have like happy hour, things like
Mhm.
that tend to
Mm-hmm.
be a little bit more, I mean,
In,
would
in,
lend themselves to this kind of thing.
in fact, I mean, Elliot, I know you mentioned, I mean, the fact that there's like 1,000 religious group things,
Yeah.
many of them put on some really good potlucks.
Oh yeah.
And, you know, just saying, not
Yeah.
all of
I
them are going to
love a good
card you
potluck.
as to whether or
Mm-hmm.
not you believe in the death, burial, and resurrection of Jebus.
Yeah. And look,
They
and
aren't going to
look,
care.
I'm not saying, just so everybody is completely clear and it is on the record, I am not telling you to infiltrate your local Christian potlucks. I am not telling you to do that. What I am saying is that if you wore like maybe just a simple cheap cross necklace and you didn't make it super overt and you said like every so often, maybe like a hey, actually kind of weird, but like none of the gospels are eyewitness accounts, like all the scholars say that. I'm just saying it could be something to think about, just
Yeah,
whatever.
there are religious
Do what
skeptics.
you want.
It's all good. Yeah.
Oh, I love that idea. Oh, that is really fantastic. Wow. Okay. Going on to the next question, we asked, in what kind of venue do you prefer to engage with secular communities? And let's see. Okay, the two most popular answers were online events and hybrid options. So where there might be an opportunity to participate online or in person. Wow. Okay. I guess that could again be a little bit of a bias since we
Consider
we
the
are here
audience.
in
Mhm.
an online event. So yeah, this is not applicable broadly to the entire population. We're polling ourselves.
But
But yeah.
this poll shows, I mean, look, you've got 4 people saying large in person, 5 saying private
Mhm.
rep, 5 saying
Hmm.
local business, 1 saying outdoors, 3 I mean, you what this shows is that we are wanting that, y'all.
Hmm.
Mhm.
We really do. We love the online stuff. It's super easy, it's accessible. We can all do it, you
Mhm.
know, in a moment's notice. But we really also like that shit in person. We want to see each other.
Yeah. Well, and I'm also struck by the fact that the hybrid choice was the most popular one. And given that we're here in an online event, that sounds to me like there's opportunity there for people who are here tonight that love that there's this online activity to do, but they're maybe hoping for some in-person opportunities as well. So, hey,
Start the
don't
next
forget about the
chapter.
support groups. Absolutely. Yes. Okay. Love that. That's really great to see. Okay, and then we asked next. This was a question that grew out of a conversation we were having in the pre-show, where we were talking about other kinds of events that people might be interested in going to that are more touch-based. And so we asked, to what extent is physical touch important to you in community activities? And it ranged from somebody hug me right now to please don't touch me. And I am noticing too that there was a heavy bias towards the please don't touch me end of the spectrum, with not very important being the most popular answer. Although we did have a couple of people that said, 3 people that said it's very important, and 5 people that want to hug right now. So back to
Those are my
Elliot's
people.
point. Yeah,
There are
there you
8
go.
right there.
You
All
know
right.
where to
Yeah,
go.
All
that's
right.
And if
right.
We're
you don't want to be touched, this is the place for
Yeah,
you. I will not surprise touch
right. Right.
anybody.
You
this is
will
the place
not
to hang
be.
out.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Literally impossible to be touched here in a physical way. If you are, I want your pills. So yes.
Right. I mean, it could be the flying spaghetti monster's noodly appendage, as long as it's consensually touching you. Okay, and then finally, our last question is always the most important, silly one. Um, we actually toyed around with the idea of asking, should we ask a silly question? And that be the question. So y'all can let us know if you're sick of these in the chat, but I think they're fun. So this one tonight was on the theme of apocalypse. If you were a natural disaster, what would you be? And I am curious to see which one won here. Oh, meteor strike came out ahead. We're feeling rather dramatic this evening. So
2032.
yeah.
It's a
Oh
1 in 50
yeah, I saw
chance.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was reading some articles lately though about how some of the way that we thought about the devastation caused by previous kind of large meteor events may have been over maybe exaggerated a little bit. We might survive. But I don't know
Mm.
the
Tell
details of
tell
the
that
one
to the
that's coming. And
non-avian tell that to the non-avian dinosaurs. Or-
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
no,
gonna
I
say,
hear ya. I hear
I'm
ya.
stocking up my bunker either way, so I don't care. I mean, it's
Get
just
ready. It's good
And
to
by the
be
way, to be
prepared.
pedantic here, meteor is what is
Yes.
lights up in the atmosphere. If it hits the Earth, it's actually a
It's an
yeah,
meteorite.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
True,
Oh,
true.
but I
thank
would be
you.
more worried about asteroid strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, to
Yes.
be fair
That's
though, a meteorite just sounds like it's weak. I
Mm.
mean, it
like it's a
Yeah.
little
diminishes the whole
meteor.
thing. If a
Yeah,
meteor hits
Yeah.
yeah.
you, like meteorites, like ting, like,
Very, very small rock energy,
yeah.
you
I
know?
mean,
Right.
it's yeah, yeah.
All right. So we should have said meteorite or
Giant meteor. I love it.
asteroid
Yeah,
strike.
it's true. Yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right. Well, see, we like to learn things on this show.
That's right.
And let's see. We also, I am surprised to see nobody selected Plague of Frogs or Locusts.
Yeah,
I
come
was
on, guys.
particularly proud of
What's
that
wrong
one.
with y'all? That's a good one. You wouldn't want to be
Uh,
a billion locusts eating people's
yeah.
crops and starving them slowly over months at a time? Come on, who
Come
wouldn't,
on. Yeah.
Anybody
Oh,
see
I
the mummy?
forgot.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. And frogs are Helen's phobia animal. I did forget about that until writing it. So sorry.
Not frogs.
Fuck those guys. Fuck them.
Yeah,
Fuck all the
that's
frogs.
fair.
just not
That's fair.
literally.
Right. Don't. Right.
Yeah.
Don't actually.
Right.
Yeah.
No financial, no sexual advice has been
No,
given
no.
today.
Correct.
This is-
Yeah.
No,
No.
like,
Very
like-
careful where you rub those.
yeah, I think we have phrase.
Something
Damn
about
all
warts,
frogs to
right?
hell.
Is that it? Warts, frogs? I don't know if that's true. It doesn't matter. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
That's fine.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm also noticing that 25% of people selected something else
love
as
that.
the natural disaster. I would love to know in
I
the
know.
chat
Yeah,
what the
we need to
other
hear these.
options were.
Yes.
And yeah, while we wait on that, I noticed a question come in the chat just a minute ago. Oh, someone's asking a tornado. You know, we forgot to mention
tornado.
tornadoes.
Yeah, it's good.
That's a
Yeah,
That
big
would have been a
tornado.
good
Of course.
one. Yep,
Of course.
yep, those are scary. I'm from Texas, and so that's our scary disaster in the North Texas area.
We've had in Nashville over the last, like 20-ish years, there's been, about a handful of tornadoes that have come through and have caused some damage. And what's super duper wild about them is they almost all followed the exact same path down Lebanon Road. Like,
Ooh.
it's really fucking creepy that they just almost exactly hit the same touchdown locations and everything. I mean, it's so weird. It's very, yeah. But I mean, I think it probably because of like geographical, geological shit going on, and then it,
Yes.
pushes the. So
I mean,
maybe
admittedly, if a twister does come, as long as it brings Glenn Powell, I'm okay with it.
Oh man. Okay. Well, someone else is reminding us of the Haboob cloud, the dust storm. That we learned about that on a previous episode.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one that was, but that's a fun
That's
one.
a good one
I forgot to
too.
put that on there.
Mm.
Okay, while we are, I know it's fun to say. I also recently started playing Civilization 7. It just dropped. I got the early release because I pre-ordered it months ago. And one of the disasters that occurs in that game now is the Haboob dust cloud, and it makes me giggle every time. So loving that. Okay,
Is that a
moving
clown
on.
selling lingerie? Ha, boop.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
Okay, keep telling us your disasters and make your argument for why that would be yours. And while that is going on, I want to ask this question that popped up in the chat, which was, what are some good books that you've read this year or last year? And I want to ask Elliot first, and then I do want to hear from David after that in case he's got an update for us.
I've actually got one right here. So, a buddy of mine wrote this book right here. It's called Star Spangled Jesus. And the subtitle is Leaving Christian Nationalism and Finding a True Faith. April Ajoy is a Christian who recently went through this incredible experience. So she grew up touring the country on a bus because her father was this big Seven Mountain Dominionism, preacher, wrote this fucking book and everything. She was on the 700 Club. She was on the Jim Baker show. She was loving Jesus, and she married this good Christian man, and they were living their lives, and they were, fighting for Jesus. And she turned on the news on January 6th, and she noticed some friends of hers in the crowd. And she got really concerned. And she started asking herself a lot of questions. And I'm not gonna give you all the fun reveals that happen in her story, because you got to go get the book. But yeah, the Star Spangled Jesus, a great book, and somebody that is the exact fucking epitome of what I was talking about earlier. Somebody that 100% is on our fucking side, and we need to get back past that initial kind of ick. Oh, Christian, bleh, gross, Jesus. Like, fuck all that shit, man. This is somebody that absolutely has an insight track on this stuff, man. And, oh, a great book, very funny, very enjoyable. You'll love it. So, that's
You
it.
know, I love that you brought that up. That book is on my list too. I actually follow April on
She's so
her
great.
Instagram. She's great. I love her.
Her
I mean, I don't know her, but
her and Eve Was Framed, Promise, another wonderful person. Lucky enough to have
He
her
was
in
friend
the
was great.
so fucking thankful she is in this
Yeah.
area. And Promise and April did like a couple of videos. I think it was titled like Christian and Atheist Go to a Drag Brunch. So they went to a drag brunch here in Nashville, and yeah, it was awesome. If you don't know those people, definitely go check them out. They're amazing.
I love that. Yeah, great example of practicing what you preach.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was an awesome book recommendation. I dropped that in the chat. Any others? Or should we
Uh,
go to David?
Yeah, go to David. Yeah. That was the. I mean, I'm sure I've read a couple of other things. I mean, maybe not this year because it's only February,
Sure.
but like,
That's true.
but yeah, we'll do that one. That one's good.
Okay, that's a good one. David, you're on the spot. I know I'm probably not
Oh,
putting you on the spot though. I feel like you're gonna have something for us.
I mean, to be fair, um, I've recently gotten huge into lit RPG genre. So literary
Yes.
RPGs, like, so the whole like people variations on people wake up and all of a sudden they're in a new universe and it's all based on some kind of role playing game. Um, so many iterations of them out there, and I've been going crazy about them. And so many variations, lots of fun. Some are just completely ridiculous. Others are a lot more serious. But it all started with the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. That is absolutely hilarious, and it needs to be because it's really depressing otherwise. Like the whole premise of it is really disturbing. And so the fact that but it makes it because basically Carl is just like, fuck you, I'm gonna burn this whole thing down, and all of you people, you know space conglomerates, are gonna die. It's fantastic. um so
This
if
is
you
the
really
one
need that
that
kind of like rah burn the man down, it's a great book
this
series.
is the one with the snarky cat, right?
Yes, the very snarky cat that
Okay.
eventually learns how to fling fireballs. It's absolutely there. It's very Princess is the cat's name,
Of course.
and she's very snarky, and she absolutely loves flinging fireballs.
I love it. I had a cat named Princess one time. She was a total princess too.
Can I
But
just, y'all two, real quick? Can I get your thoughts on this? Because I've
yes.
just always wondered. Do you think it's appropriate to give pets human names?
I think that is a really interesting
Like, hey,
question.
here's my cat, Steve. Like, I don't know. I feel like Stevius Maximus the Great or something is a better name for a cat. And then like as a nickname you call him Steve, but like his real name is, something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Elliot, I had a cat named George,
I
and we had another cat named Aggie.
look and look, I
And
don't
we
want to
have
yuck anybody's yum. I'm just saying,
uh,
I feel like with pets, we have an opportunity because if you named your child, something like
Catnip's
Dylan.
never clean.
Yeah, well, yeah, like Dylan the greatest of fluffiest of dogs, like that would be so weird, but like with a dog, you have that opportunity. You have the chance to give your pet a silly name, Anyway, okay, I'll
Oh,
stop.
I totally agree. I
Thank
think
you.
that all pet names should be like racehorse names or something, where
Yes.
it's like a phrase or something
Yes.
very dramatic.
We were gonna name. Okay, quick story. We were gonna give George like a dramatic name, but then Todd was like, "No, he's just George. He's just George the cat."
He's
So
a
we were
George.
like, "Fine.
Yeah.
He doesn't get an awesome name. It's just George."
Yeah.
But it could be short for something else. I don't know.
And really though, doesn't that actually point to why we should, have more fun with our human names?
It's maybe
I
we
mean,
should.
really,
So-
isn't the real solution here to be like, I named my
Supposedly,
child whatever.
supposedly. I don't know that it is true. I don't know how I would get third party independent confirmation of this, but my mom and dad have told me this story my whole fucking life, which is apparently somewhere around the age of 5. I told them that I wanted to have 2 kids when I grew up, a boy and a girl. And I wanted to name the girl Petunia and the boy Bozo. And I just want to let you know that at 30 years of age, I'm still sticking by that. Okay. I still feel like I had the right thought at that moment. I'm not saying I'm not flexible. I'm just saying, just feel like that's the starting point. So anyway.
If you want a spectrum of names, all you have to do is like become a really big nerd, like join a Ren Fair scene or like a fantasy scene or whatever, and then you have what's called your scene name. Like this weekend, it
Oh.
was Pixel, Mischief, Perception, uh Alf spelled with like a bunch of different vowels like there. And then in the fairy worlds community, like my nickname was Subtle because it was ironic because all I did was wear glittery holographic things head to toe. So
Oh, your nickname was Subtle. I thought I was
no,
waiting.
subtle. Like I was wearing I have a duochrome rainbow jumpsuit made of
Uh-huh.
sequins. And
Eh,
they're like, you know what fits? Subtle.
right, right. I
Subtle. And my
thought
partner's name is Cuddles, so it's subtle and cuddle.
Subtle
It's
and Cuddle.
funny.
That's very
Again.
good. I thought though you were setting us up to tell us. I
No.
thought you were going to be like, my nickname was Subtle, and then I waited and I was like, oh no, I get
No,
it.
it's
No,
actually
no.
the yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was waiting for like something the opposite, like all glitter. Hi, my name's Boyd. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's really,
You did.
and you just get to, just to reemphasize to everybody, you get to name yourself if you want to. That's fine. There are no rules. You get to do whatever you want.
Totally
You
true.
get to choose your own name if you don't like it. It's fine.
Totally
There are
true.
no rules.
True.
Except for giving pets human names. I stand firm on that. I will fight everyone. So.
It's fair. I support that policy. Okay. And on that note, I feel like we should wrap up and head to the hangout. But do you have anything else you want to share with us? I am going to drop your link tree in the
Thank you.
chat. But anything else you want to leave us with before we move on to hang out?
Just stay connected, y'all. I mean, in one way or the other. There's 1,000 fucking ways to do it. And I promise you, there are a lot of people that give a shit about you in a lot of different spaces. Please do not disconnect. Don't disappear into the void for the next few years. We need everybody that can possibly be here. And we need 1,000 different things. I promise you, there is absolutely something that you can do that will make a massive difference for a group or a person in your area. Please do that. And if you need some ideas, I fucking guarantee you on RFR's website, they got a few of them at least to start. So
Yes, we do, and that is an excellent segue. We are, in fact, here every Monday doing a show like this. Thank you so much, Elliot, for joining us for this one and for all of the rest of the work that you're doing out there, making community happen. That is what we need, and that's what we're here for. That's actually how RfRx started. This was something that we started during lockdown, back in the COVID times. This was an opportunity to connect with people online when we couldn't leave our houses, and we just kept doing it because it seemed like there was a need. So we're gonna keep on doing it as long as there are still people showing up, I guess. And on top of that, lots of other services like the ones we mentioned earlier, the support groups and things like that. And so Don't forget to join us here next week. We have Dr. Andrea Love joining us next week, and she is going to talk about. She's a biomedical scientist and a science communicator, and she's going to talk with us about. Um, let's see. Science information and how that has to do with health topics in particular. She has a passion for helping the public understand complex science topics to navigate the world better and improving medical science literacy in particular. So that is definitely something that we're going to need in our lives. And so some other upcoming guests that we have are Abby Hafer, Natalia Pasternak, Neil the 604 Atheist, Stephen Novella, Mallory Mackey, and Erica Matthews, to name just a few. So keep on coming if you want to see more cool shows with good information. And don't forget to follow us on the interwebs. We have a lot of social media pages. We are on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, and of course, YouTube, where our episodes of RfRx go. So find us there. Like Elliot was saying, it only takes a second to like and share. So send that out there so other people can find us who might need us. And one other really important way that you can get involved is by volunteering. All of the services that we provide at RFR are provided by volunteers. And we have learned that healing can come from helping others. A lot of our volunteers find a lot of meaning and purpose volunteering with us and creating these spaces for people. And we are always in need of more help because there is always a need for more services. And so, to that point, you can get plugged in to a job or a task that suits you. Everybody doesn't have to be answering the helpline or anything or running the support groups. Those are just a couple of the things that we need help with. We also need help with things like editing the RFRX episodes and getting them online. We need people to help with the social media team to get out there and respond to people and make the posts and get the word out. And we need help with our IT support. We need moderators in the online community. Whatever it is, if you have some time, we can get you plugged in. And if you are interested in volunteering, you can go to our webpage and fill out a volunteer application and learn about the process for starting to volunteer. And I am dropping that link in the chat. So please feel free to do that if you would like to get involved with us. And one final note, we do have a quick video that you can share with folks. It's called RFR What We Do. It's about 3 minutes, and it just describes all of the services that we offer more succinctly than what we do at the beginning of this program. And that is another great way to get that information out to somebody who might benefit from it or might need, another source of support. So feel free to share that widely. And that's it for us. Let me bring on Gail, our fabulous executive director, to close us out for the evening. I don't know if you do benedictions as well, like Daryl does, but
Negative. I do not do benedictions. And that leads me to one of my points I'm going to make in a minute. Elliot, thank you for a fantastic presentation. My mind was racing as you described this connection of our secular communities and how starting in Nashville and then Tennessee and then the Southeast and then the whole US, where it's all cross interconnected. And if you have a layover overnight in Cincinnati, maybe you could just ping those guys and have a beer or whatever it is so that we can build community. And I think it's a fantastic idea. Please, everyone, if you are part of a secular group with any ability to sort of plug in and be part of our web, not our spider's web, our social web, to be able to connect with one another. I think that's a fantastic idea. So thank you for that presentation. I also want to mention, I did not ask for his permission to do this. Daryl has been in the room with us kind of on and off. He's been trying to catch up. He did a presentation yesterday at Kansas City, the Oasis gathering, and I'm going to put the link in here when I finish talking. I can't do two things at once like Kara does, but this talk, I want to share that with you. And so I'll put that in just a few minutes unless someone puts that in, unless somebody gets ahead of me. And the last thing I wanted to mention, and this is not directed to Elliot, it's just something that came up a couple of days ago in a support group. It came up again tonight. We here at Recovering from Religion understand the potency of the word atheist. Years back, we were so terribly careful with that word because it had even more power several years ago. We're making progress. I know it seems like baby steps, but we are making progress. Each of us is on our own journey. There are a great many of us that that volunteer here recovering from religion who do identify as atheists. It's the journey we've made. It's the word that we claim for ourselves. There are others who are not comfortable with the word, or maybe not comfortable, just have chosen and opted a different identifier for who and what they are. Recovering from religion understands that because we've been on the other side of it. Most of us have come from the religious world, and we know the power of that word. We know the prejudice that comes with that word. We know the potency of that word, that we do try to be sensitive to that. Is it our problem? Not really. If someone has a bad image of what that word is, they need to work that out. It's their problem. Well, guess what we've just done? We've just built a giant wall between us and them. So we try to be sensitive to the word. We try to make that crystal clear that while recovering from religion helps people and provides hope, healing, and support to those who are struggling with issues of doubt and non-belief, you'll never be asked to identify by any word that you're not comfortable with. We empower everyone to choose. Maybe that word is secular. Maybe that's freethinker. Maybe that's agnostic. Maybe it's none of those. Maybe you're spiritual, but not religious. There are a gamut, and everybody's journey is the same. And I will tell you, I'll be surprised if it's static. It changes over time. You don't just get there and go, done, because we continue to learn and we continue to grow. That's the strength of being a critical thinking person. So just wanted to put that out there. Thank you again, everybody, for attending. I hope you'll stay for the hangout. That's where some of the best conversations happen. And remember that if you can't get enough of us, remember that we've talked all evening about the other things that we offer: support groups and hangouts and our online community and our hangouts within our online community. So if you want a little bit more of RFR, we got it for you. Consider volunteering if you would like to do that. Consider donating if that's something that's in your wheelhouse. Thank you for attending. Thank you to everyone who does the behind-scenes stuff. And Elliot, especially thank you to you for being our speaker tonight. Thank you.